First contact shock. High Commander Venera of the Galactic Confederation stared at the holographic display, her crystalline features reflecting the shifting light of the projection. The vessel before her defied everything she thought she knew about technological progression. Her finest analysts had been studying it for the past 3 cycles, and still, they couldn't make sense of it. "Play it again," she ordered, her voice resonating through the command chamber. The footage resumed. A massive human vessel, designated HSS Artemis, emerging from what their sensors had initially dismissed as a routine stellar phenomenon. Its hull bore markings that seemed more appropriate for ancient seafaring vessels, yet it moved with grace that their most advanced ships couldn't match. "Impossible," muttered Chief Science Officer Zalthan, his multiple eyes blinking in sequence. "They're using nuclear fission reactors, technology we abandoned millennia ago, yet their power output exceeds our antimatter drives. And their hull." He trailed off, mandibles clicking in frustration. The Artemis had appeared on the edge of Confederation space 2 days ago, responding to a routine patrol's hails with surprising politeness. The humans called it a deep space research vessel, but its capabilities suggested something far more sophisticated. "What puzzles me most," Venera said, "is their crew." The hologram shifted to show internal scans. No neural networks, no AI oversight, not even basic biomechanical augmentation. Just humans, working together with nothing but their natural abilities and what they call training. The room fell silent as they watched the footage continue. The human vessel's point defense systems had casually swatted aside their standard probe array, using what appeared to be chemically propelled projectiles, guided by crude electromagnetic systems. Yet somehow, these primitive weapons had achieved perfect intercept ratios that their own quantum-guided systems struggled to match. First contact specialist Karen stepped forward, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with excitement. "Perhaps we're approaching this wrong," she suggested. "We're trying to understand their technology through our lens of progress. But what if they've taken a completely different path?" The others turned to her, intrigued. On the holographic display, the Artemis continued its methodical survey of the sector, its actions precise and purposeful, despite what the Confederation considered technological handicaps. "Look at their communication systems," Karen continued. "They're still using radio waves and digital encryption, technology we consider obsolete. Yet somehow they've developed variations we can't decrypt or intercept. They're not following our path of technological evolution at all. They're innovating sideways." Venera's attention was drawn to a new alert. The Artemis had launched what the humans called a survey drone, a small, seemingly simple device that their sensors struggled to track despite its apparent lack of sophisticated stealth systems. "Their approach to space travel itself is fascinating," Zalthan added. "While we focused on eliminating the need for human operators through automation and AI, they've instead perfected the integration of human decision-making with mechanical systems. Their pilots actually fly their ships, responding to conditions faster than our predictive algorithms." The implications were becoming clear, and they were troubling. The Confederation had achieved its position through careful, methodical technological progress along well-established principles. But humans had taken the long way around, perfecting technologies others had abandoned and finding new potential in what the Confederation had dismissed as dead ends. "We need to revise our first contact protocols," Venera decided. "All our assumptions about technological superiority and inferior civilizations." She gestured at the display where the Artemis had just completed a maneuver that their own ships couldn't hope to match, using principles their physics said shouldn't work. "They're clearly invalid here." As if to punctuate her point, new data streamed in. The Artemis had detected something in a nearby asteroid field that had somehow escaped the Confederation's sophisticated sensor networks. The humans were launching what they called a detailed survey mission, their crews showing no hesitation about venturing into the dangerous territory. "Perhaps," Karen suggested, watching the human vessel's efficient deployment of survey teams, "we should focus less on analyzing their technology and more on understanding how they think. Their strength isn't in any particular advancement. It's in their ability to combine and repurpose technologies in ways we never considered. The revelation was simultaneously fascinating and terrifying. The Confederation had encountered many species over its long history, but none quite like the humans. Most civilizations followed a predictable technological progression, building upon the same fundamental principles. But humans, they had taken their own path, retaining and perfecting technologies others had discarded while simultaneously developing capabilities that seemed to break the very laws of physics as the Confederation understood them. As Venra watched the Artemis continue its mission, she couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter would change the Confederation forever. The humans weren't just another emerging spacefaring race to be guided and eventually absorbed into their civilization. They were something entirely new, a species that had found its own way to the stars, carrying with them solutions to problems the Confederation had long since abandoned as unsolvable. The question now was, what other impossible things were humans capable of? And how would the Confederation adapt to a universe where their fundamental assumptions about technological progress had been so thoroughly challenged? The signal. The peace of the command chamber shattered as emergency alerts flooded the holographic displays. Venra rose from her meditation pod, her crystalline form resonating with the sudden surge of activity. Something was wrong. Very wrong. "Report," she commanded, watching as her staff rushed to their stations. "We're detecting an anomalous signal, Commander," Zalthan answered, his appendages dancing across multiple control surfaces. "It's unlike anything we've encountered before. The energy signature is massive, but the pattern..." He paused, all four eyes widening. "The pattern matches no known civilization, ancient or modern." The signal pulsed through their sensors, a rhythmic pattern that seemed to defy their most sophisticated analysis algorithms. But what truly concerned Venra was its effect on their systems. Across the sector, Confederation quantum networks were experiencing unprecedented disruptions. "The humans," Karen suddenly announced, her bioluminescence flickering with excitement. "The Artemis is responding to it too. They've altered course to investigate the signal source." Venra watched as the human vessel smoothly changed its trajectory. Their primitive systems seemed unaffected by the signal that was playing havoc with Confederation technology. In fact, they appeared to be gathering data that the Confederation's own sensors couldn't detect. "Open a channel to the Artemis," Venra ordered. The situation demanded setting aside their previous cautious approach. If this signal posed a threat to both civilizations, perhaps their different technological approaches could provide complementary insights. Captain Sarah Chen's image appeared in the holographic display. The human commander's expression was calm but alert, her eyes sharp with intelligence. "High Commander Venra," she greeted. "I assume you're also tracking this signal." "Indeed, Captain. Though it appears to be affecting our systems more severely than yours." Venra noted how the human command center behind Chen was a fascinating mix of holographic displays and physical control stations, their hybrid approach again defying Confederation expectations. "We're picking up some interesting patterns," Chen offered. "Our quantum analysts think it bears similarities to certain cosmic phenomena we've studied in our home sector. But there's something artificial about it, like someone took a natural process and weaponized it." Zalthan's mandibles clicked rapidly, his species' expression of intense interest. "Weaponized natural phenomena. That's not possible according to any known scientific principles." "Maybe not according to your principles," Chen replied with what humans called a smile. "But we've learned that the universe rarely cares about what we think is possible. Would you be interested in sharing data? Our systems seem to be picking up different aspects of the signal." Venra considered the offer. Confederation protocol strictly regulated technology sharing with emerging civilizations. But these humans had already demonstrated that their primitive technology could accomplish things that should be impossible. Perhaps it was time to reevaluate those protocols. "Agreed," she decided. "But I must warn you, the signal is causing increasing disruption to our quantum networks. Our ability to coordinate a joint investigation may be limited. Chen's smile widened slightly. Actually, we might be able to help with that. We still maintain what we call hardened communication systems, technologies specifically designed to function during electromagnetic and quantum interference. They're not as sophisticated as your networks, but they're extremely reliable. As if to emphasize the point, another wave of disruption swept through Confederation systems, causing momentary flickering in the holographic displays. Yet the communication link with the Artemis remained stable. "The signal's getting stronger," Zolthan reported, his voice tense, "and I'm detecting similar disruptions across 3 neighboring sectors. Whatever this is, it's spreading." "We're seeing the same thing," Chen confirmed. "But we've also noticed something interesting. The signal's propagation pattern, it's not random. It's following specific paths, like it's searching for something, or responding to something." Venera felt her crystalline form vibrate with unease. The implications were troubling. "You believe this is some kind of automated system, but the energy requirements would be astronomical," Chen finished. "Yes, which means whoever or whatever created it had capabilities far beyond either of our civilizations. The question is, why activate it now?" The answer came sooner than anyone expected. Across both human and Confederation sensors, new signals began to appear. Different from the first, but clearly related. They were like echoes resonating from ancient relay points scattered across the sector. "It's a network," Karen breathed, her patterns pulsing with revelation. "An ancient network we never detected because we weren't looking for technology this primitive," Chen suggested with a hint of irony. "Sometimes the old ways persist because they work. We've found that out ourselves more than once." Venera made a decision. "Captain Chen, I'm formally requesting your assistance in investigating this phenomenon. Your ship's unique capabilities, combined with your crew's unconventional perspective, may be crucial in understanding what we're dealing with." "Glad to help, Commander," Chen responded. "We've already started analyzing possible investigation vectors. Would you like our preliminary findings?" As the human captain began sharing their initial analysis, Venera couldn't help but appreciate the irony. The Confederation had initially dismissed human technology as primitive and inefficient. Now, those same primitive systems might be their best hope for understanding a threat that their advanced technology couldn't properly detect. The signal continued its mysterious pulse, growing stronger with each passing moment. Whatever ancient force they had awakened, it was clear that understanding it would require both civilizations to look beyond their preconceptions and learn to work together. Operation Bridge. The joint briefing room aboard the Artemis hummed with an unusual mix of technologies. Confederation holographic displays flickered alongside human analog screens, while both species representatives gathered around what Captain Chen had called a good old-fashioned physical model, a 3-dimensional representation of the signal's propagation pattern, built using the ship's fabrication systems. "The signal's pattern continues to expand," Zolthan reported, his appendages manipulating the holographic overlay. "But thanks to the humans' radio astronomy techniques, we've identified what appears to be its point of origin." He indicated a region of space that, according to both civilizations' star charts, should have been empty. Lieutenant Maria Santos, the Artemis's chief science officer, stepped forward. "We've been analyzing the signal using what we call legacy detection systems, technology based on principles developed during humanity's early space age. The pattern suggests it's not just a broadcast. It's more like a sonar ping, but on a stellar scale." Venera studied the human officer with interest. Like most of her crew, Santos wore no neural interfaces or biological enhancements, yet she manipulated complex datasets with remarkable efficiency through what humans called muscle memory and intuition. A stellar-scale scanning system. Kira N's bioluminescent patterns shifted with excitement. The power requirements would be enormous, but if it used natural phenomena as amplifiers. She trailed off, studying the human-built model with new appreciation. "Exactly," Santos confirmed. We think it's using stellar magnetic fields as natural resonators. It's why your quantum networks are experiencing interference. The signal is literally vibrating the fabric of space-time, but at frequencies our older technology was accidentally hardened against. The irony wasn't lost on anyone present. The very inefficiencies the Confederation had noticed in human technology were proving to be crucial advantages. Their ship's reliance on multiple redundant systems, their continued use of manual controls alongside automation, their habit of maintaining outdated technology alongside their more advanced systems, all of it now served a vital purpose. "We've plotted an approach vector," Captain Chen announced, bringing up a new display. "The challenge will be getting close enough to study the source without being detected by whatever's generating the signal. Our stealth systems won't be sufficient," Venra finished, "but perhaps a combination of approaches." She turned to her technical team. "Our quantum displacement field, combined with the human's electromagnetic masking, could work," Zoltan agreed, his eyes rapidly processing calculations. "Their primitive EM shielding would actually help stabilize our quantum field, creating a hybrid stealth system that might be undetectable to both advanced and ancient scanning methods." The next several hours were spent in intensive preparation. Human engineers worked alongside Confederation technicians, finding creative ways to interface their disparate technologies. What the humans lacked in theoretical understanding of quantum mechanics, they made up for with practical problem-solving and an intuitive grasp of system integration. "Ready for Phase 1, Santos reported, monitoring the jury-rigged sensor array they'd assembled. The device looked irregular by both human and Confederation standards, a hybrid of crystalline quantum processors and human analog systems, but initial tests showed it was functioning better than either civilization's technology could have managed alone. The Artemis moved into position, its modified systems humming with the combined power of human and Confederation technology. The massive vessel's movements were precise and deliberate, guided by human pilots whose natural intuition was now enhanced by Confederation sensor data. "Signal source holding steady," Zoltan reported. "We're picking up." "Wait." His mandibles clicked rapidly. "There's something else. The human electromagnetic sensors are detecting a pattern we missed. It's like a heartbeat," Santos finished, her eyes wide as she studied the readings. "But not biological. More like a machine pulse, something cycling up after a very, very long time." The hybrid sensor array painted a picture that neither civilization's technology could have captured alone. The signal's source was revealed to be a massive structure, ancient beyond reckoning, built into the fabric of what appeared to be a manufactured void in space, a blind spot that both civilizations' standard detection methods would have overlooked. "It's a library," Karen breathed, her patterns pulsing with awe as the data resolved into clearer images. "No, more than that. It's a beacon, a repository of knowledge left by." She paused, struggling to interpret the readings. "Left by whoever came before," Chen said quietly. "And now it's waking up. The question is, why?" As if in response to her words, new signals began emanating from the structure. These were different, not the space-warping pulses of before, but simple, ancient radio waves carrying patterns that human systems immediately recognized as mathematical sequences. "It's testing us," Venra realized, starting with basic principles and working up. Like teaching a child to walk before they run," Chen finished. "Or in this case, making sure whoever found this place would understand the fundamentals before accessing more advanced knowledge." The implications were staggering. The structure appeared to be a repository of knowledge left by an ancient civilization, but one that could only be accessed by species that maintained understanding of multiple technological approaches, both primitive and advanced. "Your civilization's dedication to preserving and improving upon old technology while developing new methods," Venra said to Chen, "and our focus on pushing the boundaries of physical possibility. Perhaps neither approach alone was sufficient. Perhaps that was the point." The structure continued its broadcast, each pulse carrying new information, new patterns, new mysteries to be solved. The Joint Human Confederation mission had succeeded in ways neither side had anticipated, but it was becoming clear that their discovery was just the beginning. The ancient threat. The hybrid command center aboard the Artemis had fallen silent as both human and Confederation crews processed the latest data stream from the ancient structure. What they'd initially thought was a library had revealed itself to be something far more urgent and far more dangerous. "It's not just a repository," Santos said, her voice tense as she studied the decoded transmissions. "It's a warning system. Those mathematical sequences. They're not tests. They're countdown protocols." Zolthan's appendages moved frantically across his console. "Confirmed. The signal patterns we've been tracking. They're not scanning for recipients. They're scanning for threats. The system thinks something is coming." Captain Chen and Commander Venra exchanged glances. The human captain's expression was grim, while the Confederation commander's crystalline form resonated with concerned frequencies. "Show me the projection," Chen ordered. The combined sensor data painted a terrifying picture. The ancient structure wasn't just broadcasting. It was activating a network of defensive systems that had lain dormant for millions of years. Systems that, according to the warning protocols, were designed to counter a threat that had nearly wiped out the structure's builders. "The void we detected," Kara-Ann reported, her bioluminescence pulsing rapidly. "It's not just a hiding place for the structure. It's a quarantine zone. Something was trapped here, contained. And now it's breaking free," Venra finished. The sensors showed it clearly. Microscopic tears in space-time, spreading outward from the center of the void. Whatever had been imprisoned there was beginning to escape its ancient bonds. "The builders," Santos said, studying the translated data, "they found a way to trap it, but couldn't destroy it. So they left behind these systems, this warning, for whoever might find it next." She looked up at the others. They knew the containment wouldn't last forever. The structure shuddered, its ancient systems fully awakening. Streams of data flooded both human and Confederation computers. Technical specifications, tactical assessments, desperate warnings left by a civilization that had sacrificed itself to contain something they couldn't defeat. "Multiple quantum breaches detected," Zolthan announced, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The containment field is failing. Whatever's in there, it's coming out." The first visual contact came moments later. Through the tears in space-time, something emerged. Not solid matter, not energy, but something in between. It moved with purpose, with hunger, consuming the very fabric of reality as it spread. "It's a void entity," Venra breathed. "A consciousness that exists in the spaces between space-time. Our ancestors theorized about such beings, but we thought they were impossible." "Impossible seems to be the theme of the day," Chen replied grimly. She studied the tactical displays, watching as the entity began to expand. "The builder's warning is clear. This thing feeds on advanced energy systems, quantum networks, antimatter drives. Everything the Confederation relies on," Venra realized. Her crystalline form dimmed slightly as the implications became clear. "Our technology would make us perfect prey." "But not human technology," Kara-Ann interjected, her patterns shifting with sudden inspiration. "Your primitive systems, nuclear power, chemical propulsion, analog electronics, they're too simple, too solid for it to consume." Chen's eyes lit up with understanding. "That's why the builders left the warning in basic radio waves and mathematical sequences. They knew that any civilization advanced enough to detect quantum-level signals would already be vulnerable. They needed someone who still understood the old ways." The entity continued to grow, its impossible form spreading through space like ink through water. The Confederation sensors tried to track it but began to fail as it consumed the quantum fields they relied on. Yet the human systems, operating on entirely different principles, could still detect its movements. "We need to seal those breaches," Santos announced, her fingers flying over her console. The builders left us the tools, emergency containment protocols, but they're designed to work with multiple types of technology, almost like they knew it would take two different civilizations working together. Venra finished. Our quantum field generators, combined with our nuclear pulse drives, Chen added, catching on. The same way we merged our stealth systems, we can create a new kind of containment field, one that exists in both quantum and normal space. The next hours were a blur of desperate activity. Human and Confederation crews worked side by side, merging their technologies in ways neither civilization had ever attempted. The entity fought back, its impossible form testing their defenses, seeking weak points in their hastily constructed containment systems. But where Confederation quantum fields failed, human analog backups held firm. When human power systems overloaded, Confederation energy transfers kept them stable. Two technological philosophies working in harmony, achieving what neither could do alone. Containment field at 60%, Santos reported, sweat beading on her forehead as she coordinated with her Confederation counterparts. The entity is being pushed back. Quantum breaches are sealing, Zalthan confirmed. The human nuclear pulses are. They're actually forcing it to become solid enough for our fields to grip it. Slowly, inexorably, the combined might of human and Confederation technology began to force the entity back into its prison. The ancient structure, recognizing their efforts, added its own power to theirs, its systems interfacing seamlessly with their jury-rigged containment field. It's working, Chen breathed, watching as the last traces of the void entity were sealed away. We did it. But even as the immediate threat was contained, both crews knew their work was far from over. The ancient builders had managed to trap the entity once. Now it fell to humans and the Confederation to ensure it remained trapped and to prepare for the day it might try to escape again. Legacy of Two Worlds. 1 month after the containment of the void entity, the Artemis and the Confederation flagship Eternal Light floated in synchronized orbit around the ancient structure. The once hidden installation now pulsed with renewed energy, its systems fully awakened and integrated with the combined human Confederation containment field. In the Joint Research Center they'd established aboard the structure, Captain Chen and Commander Venera stood side by side, watching their crews work together with an efficiency that would have seemed impossible just weeks ago. The builders were far more clever than we initially realized, Venera observed, her crystalline form reflecting the soft light of the ancient displays. They didn't just leave us a warning. They left us a lesson. Chen nodded, watching as Lieutenant Santos and Zalthan collaborated on mapping the structure's extensive database. They knew that containing the entity wasn't enough. They needed to ensure that whoever found this place would be ready to take up their mantle. And to be ready, Kiran added from her workstation, required a civilization that understood both the quantum and the physical, the advanced and the fundamental. Her bioluminescent patterns pulsed with enthusiasm as she worked alongside human researchers. They knew it would take two different approaches to technology, working in harmony. The past month had transformed both crews' understanding of their own technologies. The Confederation had begun exploring the possibilities of what they had dismissed as primitive systems, discovering that human backup technologies could achieve things their quantum systems couldn't. Meanwhile, the human crew had gained insights into advanced theoretical physics that would have taken them centuries to discover on their own. We've fully mapped the containment field interface, Santos reported, looking up from her console, now a seamless blend of human and Confederation technology. The entity is secure, but the builder's data suggests it's not unique. There could be others out there. Which is why we need to maintain our partnership, Venera said, turning to Chen. The Confederation Council has reviewed my recommendations. We're proposing a joint defense and research initiative, Operation Legacy. Chen smiled. Earth's governments have come to the same conclusion. We've already begun adapting our deep space vessels to accommodate Confederation technology, while maintaining our traditional systems. Around them, the ancient structure hummed with approval, its systems responding to the harmony between the two civilizations. The Builder's database had begun revealing more of its secrets, showing them glimpses of other threats that lurked in the darkness between stars. Threats that could only be faced by civilizations wise enough to embrace both innovation and tradition. It's interesting, Karen mused, studying a section of the Builder's historical records. According to this, their civilization fell because they pursued only the most advanced solutions. They forgot their foundations, became completely dependent on quantum-level technologies. When the void entities appeared, they had to rediscover their past. Zoltan finished, his mandibles clicking thoughtfully. But they ran out of time. So they left this legacy, hoping that whoever found it would learn from their mistake. The implications weren't lost on anyone. The Confederation had been following the same path, gradually abandoning technologies they saw as obsolete. Without humanity's different approach to technological development, they might have eventually faced the same fate as the Builders. "We're establishing joint training programs," Venra announced. "Confederation crews learning human manual operation techniques, human crews studying quantum mechanics. Every ship in both our fleets will be equipped with hybrid systems. And this is just the beginning," Chen added. The Builder's database contains references to other installations, other containment sites. We'll need to find them, secure them, and prepare for whatever else is waiting out there in the dark. The ancient structure's systems pulsed in response, as if acknowledging their commitment. Its original builders were long gone, but their legacy lived on in this partnership between two civilizations that had found different paths to the stars. "You know," Santos said, looking up from her analysis of the Builder's technology, "they weren't just leaving us warnings and technology. They were leaving us hope. Hope that someone would come along who could succeed where they had failed. And they ensured that success would require cooperation," Venra added. "No single approach to technology or progress would be sufficient. It had to be a combination, a harmony between different ways of thinking." As if to emphasize her point, a new alert came from the containment field monitors. The void entity had attempted to probe its prison again, but the hybrid field held firm. Confederation quantum barriers reinforced by human nuclear pulses, each technology compensating for the other's weaknesses. "To the Builders," Chen said solemnly, raising a cup of what humans called coffee. The gesture had become a ritual among both crews over the past month, a symbol of their growing understanding of each other's cultures. "To the Builders," Venra echoed, her crystalline form resonating at a frequency that humans had learned to recognize as respect. "And to the future we'll build together." Around them, human and Confederation crews continued their work, their differences no longer barriers but strengths. They had faced an impossible threat and emerged stronger, not just because they had survived, but because they had learned to see the value in each other's paths. The ancient structure stood as a testament to their achievement, its systems now fully integrated with both human and Confederation technology. It would stand guard over the void entity for millennia to come, powered by the combined ingenuity of two civilizations that had discovered something profound. True progress comes not from abandoning the old for the new, but from finding ways to make them work together. In the vast darkness of space, other mysteries and dangers awaited. But now, humans and the Confederation would face them not as separate civilizations, but as partners who had learned that the greatest strength lies in embracing different ways of thinking, different approaches to progress, and different paths to the same stars.